Hey guys, Evan Ark here, and today we're going to be doing a review on the Kumonga Y-MSF figure. Now, as you all know, if you've seen my box day I released recently, I did get the Y-MSF Kumonga. Now, this has been a figure that I have been wanting for years, easily my top of the list. I really never thought I would have had a chance of getting it, but a person who sells Y-MSF figures on Instagram managed to have it for quite a decent price, especially when you go on eBay and Amazon and literally find nothing when searching it up. But nonetheless, here we have it, the Y-MSF Kumonga standing right here, right now, and there we go. Let's get into the pros of this figure. Now, the first pro with this figure I have is, of course, none other but the paint job. I really love the paint job on this guy, definitely above average, because I really feel as though it only has like 4 colors. All of them really stand out, and I like how most of the colors, like the yellow, are more shaded than bright. For instance, the 4 main colors I was going to say are really dark green, for the main color, purple for the eyes, brown for the mouth and the spikes. Not the spikes, but you know what I mean. Mouth for the front, and the mouth is brown, and the yellow all around it, and probably some extra tiny not noticeable colors. But those are really the main 4 ones, and all of them really were painted beautifully on this figure. The purple on this is just spectacular. No paint scuffs on the eyes with the paint job, and it really makes it stand out as a spider. Most importantly, the brown is alright, probably my least favorite kind of the color because it's not really much to love about it. But it's still pretty, there's nothing wrong with it, so therefore I guess it's a decent paint job on that part. The gray, the dark gray is the main color, but what I really love that makes the paint job the best thing I like about this figure is the yellow. I really like, as we all know, that Kumonga does have shades of yellow, that it isn't a bright yellow, it's a beautiful shade of yellow that really transpires so well with the dark green to the point where you really can't flaw it. So I know that's kind of a big statement, but it's true. I really feel as though the way they painted this was spectacular. You had 4 main colors, all of them were painted decent or above average, and that really made the paint job my favorite thing I liked about this figure. So that being said, let's go on to the next thing I like about this figure. So the next thing I like about this figure is indeed the detail. Now, the reason why I like the detail on this figure is mainly... Now that was not a joke back there. I accidentally moved the camera and it fell down as I was trying to point at the Kumonga. But like I was saying, the detail on this figure is really good. I think it's also above average and is second in line with what I love about this figure. Reason being is, well, I don't really know what to say when it comes to this figure. Honestly, when it comes to detail, there's nothing really to honestly flaw. The detail on this is just really nice. I like the way the facial detail is probably my favorite part because it's the more detailed part of the figure than any other part. I also like the body parts of the figures, how these look really moldy and strong and bold. I like how they did that with the back here. The leg detail is fine. I guess it's pretty average. Nothing to hate, nothing to love. But the facial detail is what really gives the detail an above average status. So, that being said, let's get on to the cons of this figure. So the cons of this figure, I have really, honestly, 3 main cons. At least I think they're just considered 3 main cons. To get the big con out of the way, it is the articulation. Now, to be more specific when it comes to the articulation, the more specific part of the articulation that I dislike is the legs. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. Y-MSF is pretty much identical to Bandai. Why does it have bad articulation when Bandai is known for decent articulation, right? So the problem is like I said, the legs. There's nothing really else you are able to move with this figure but the legs, and the legs have trouble moving. So that pretty much makes the articulation just gives it a bad grade in general. Now, let me explain. When I got this figure, I don't know if it's because it's stiff after, being in a box for like months or whatever, but the point is that I noticed that, yes, the legs can move. I didn't think they could at first, but I figured it out later because, look at this. This leg can move, but yet this one can move too. But I'm having trouble finding a way to get this one to move, and like all the ones on this side. So the articulation is not that it doesn't work. It has an ability to work, but it isn't exactly a glue seal. It's just so stiff I can't even move it, and I don't want to break it, so I don't really know what to do with this. But all I'm going to say is it does have the capacity to have like literally 8 joints of articulation plus, actually not 9, because I do count this beak right here. As 9 joints of as 9 joints of articulation at the end of the day. But the problem is that the 8 joints that make up like easily more than half of that number are ineligible to work. Now, the next flaw I have with this, by the way, the next 2 are such nitpicks, is the next flaw I have, which is the nitpick, is that, well, Take a look at this huge seal on the back where it says made in Japan and all that. Not made in China actually, but made in Japan. Which I notice a lot with Y-MSF because I'm guessing they're definitely a Japanese company. Just like all the other companies, but they're not made in China. They don't profit off of it, so that's pretty good. But like I said, the problem is that it's really noticeable, this dent. They couldn't have really written it into the mold, which I really don't understand why. But it just had to have like a big. It almost looks like a plastic sticker. It's like part of the plastic. It feels like it's an extra. It feels like it's a part of the figure somehow, but it isn't. It's just somehow it looks like a separated seal just to put the title. So I really don't like that because it's noticeable on the underbelly. I really wish they would have just wrote it down within the actual mold so it would have looked normal, not an extra piece of mold added. And the third and final con, which is somewhat bigger of a nitpick but still a nitpick, is that the back here, which isn't a joint of articulation, I don't really know what to consider it's loose, right? It doesn't look it because I'm not moving it a lot, but trust me, it's really, it's something that I don't feel like was meant to move, so I'm not going to move it to show you guys so much, but I think you guys get the idea that this moves a lot. But nonetheless, all these cons don't mean I dislike this figure, because like I said, if the articulation wasn't a problem, this would be like a 9.5, but the articulation is such a huge problem that I'm going to be rating this an 8.7 out of 10. I still highly recommend you get this figure if you know which Y-MSF account I'm referring to on Instagram. If you don't, comment down below. I'll give you a link or whatever you need to find him. And but I don't know if he's selling it right now. You'll have to wait, maybe. Who knows? But either way, hope you enjoyed this review. Like, comment, subscribe. See you guys later, and bye-bye.